If you have not jumped on the AEW bandwagon, right now would actually be the best time to do so. I have to fully admit I've been critical in the past of All Elite Wrestling, but as time continues to go on, I continue to get even more invested in the product, and it's not even the fact that AEW is signing former WWE superstars. In fact, it's really just how AEW continues to focus on the longevity of the product, continuity within storylines, factoring real-life factors into their product. See, the thing is, AEW is not insulting our intelligence. And when Bray Wyatt enters this conversation, people think AEW will insult our intelligence because they don't typically do the sci-fi, scary Halloween tactic pro wrestling gimmick that Bray Wyatt has had in the WWE. Now, in this video, we will be talking about future plans for Bray Wyatt in AEW and when and where he may debut. But before we can get to that, we got to talk about AEW and some of the reasons why we are invested. Because the thing is, when I was in Chicago, I saw the debut of Ruby Soho, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, Minoru Suzuki. Hell, I was there to even witness the first ever match in 7 years between CM Punk and Darby Allin. Now, in the past, I have been critical of AEW, but I have also been very unbiased towards AEW. When they do good, I praise them. When they do bad, I give them shit. But here's the thing. I was in Chicago this past weekend, and I've been to WrestleMania. I was at the very first Double or Nothing, the very first All Out pay-per-view. I've experienced some amazing shows, and while those experiences were great, I can genuinely say that this was hands down the best wrestling event I have ever been to in my life. There is something about being in that arena with over 10,000 plus fans. People going absolutely crazy every single match, every single second. You know, normally when you go to a WWE pay-per-view and you got to use the restroom, there's a couple matches on the card where you can get up and excuse yourself and go handle your business. When I was there in Chicago, and trust me, when I had to use the restroom, I sat my ass down in that chair inside of my suite, and I was glued to what was happening inside the ring. The energy there was unbelievable. So when people get upset about the idea of Bray Wyatt coming into AEW, first, let me tell you why you're wrong. AEW has done a magnificent job of bringing in former WWE talent. They are proving to us that they are true to their word. Wins and losses matter. They count. It actually matters. There is value behind winning and losing a match. Bryan Danielson debuted just moments apart from Adam Cole at this pay-per-view. And instead of building a storyline between Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega, or Adam Cole and Kenny Omega, right? What did AEW do? They're now clearly building a storyline with Jurassic Express, Christian, and Bryan Danielson against the Elite. The World Championship is a very big prize in AEW, but right now this feels a little bit bigger. And it's great because you're not thrusting in a WWE talent for the world title picture. Look, guys, you remember Miro when he debuted? AEW got it wrong. I was shitting all over it. AEW got it wrong. After a couple months, next thing you know, Miro is a dominant TNT champion. It's simple. We have to rewire our brains when it comes to AEW's product. Truth be told, that's what it is. We are so conditioned to believe the way WWE does things is right. But now AEW is exposing WWE because the way that AEW they don't mess with our emotions. They don't insult our intelligence. WWE does. The thing is, AEW continues to prove that they do right by former WWE guys. Andrade has kind of become an afterthought, but even that, I still have confidence that AEW is going to do something with Andrade in the future. No different than they did with Miro. And this is kind of the problem when you sign too many people. I give that a fair criticism. It's a fair point. But if you're not interested in Bray Wyatt going to AEW, you might change your mind. If you guys want more videos like this, by the way, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. And don't forget to join our Discord server here on Destination PW because we're building a pro wrestling community. We're always talking about wrestling every single day of the week, and it's entirely free. So make sure you guys check out the links in the description. Bray Wyatt. What is the plan with Bray Wyatt? Well, while nothing is official, Bray Wyatt can't be given a contract to sign just yet because he's still under his 90-day clause. It is believed that Bray Wyatt will in fact debut on AEW. He will sign with AEW. That is the report. That's what's out there. People genuinely believe at this stage of the game that Bray Wyatt is going to go into AEW. Now, in the past on this channel, we talked a little bit about Dark Order, Bray Wyatt being the leader of the group, and I'm still a little undecided on it. I kind of want to see it. I kind of don't. But here's the thing. Tony Khan has not done any Halloween sci-fi character on their show. And because they haven't done that, a lot of people are fearful that it's going to interrupt AEW. And I genuinely don't believe that's going to be the case. I think what we see with Bray Wyatt when he appears on AEW is something very similar to what we've seen him do in WWE, but a little bit more toned down on the sci-fi and more amped up on the promo and creative. And that's exactly one of the pros to going to AEW. You're not heavily scripted. You have the ability to have some little creative freedom. Tony Khan mentioned in the past that he's the one who controls creative, but a company like this is successful because people have input and they have plans. They have a vision for the long term. There is continuity on this product. What better way to introduce a pro wrestler from outside of your company and bring some of that continuity that WWE didn't produce on their show, but bring it into your product and amplify it by 100. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Bray Wyatt is expected to debut at AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view. This is happening in November. There's some talks about the date changing and the arena that's changing, the city. There's even talks about the show coming to the Midwest. I want to be there. But Bray Wyatt at Full Gear is potentially the #1 spot for Bray Wyatt to debut. And I want to see it happen. Now, something that we all got to keep in mind, Bray Wyatt may not actually have the name Bray Wyatt because he doesn't own the name. Wyndham Rotunda, to me, seems like the obvious choice. There's some mystery behind the name. And I really, really, really want to see Bray Wyatt incorporate the Fiend and a different version of the Fiend along with the character that we saw in NXT. If Bray Wyatt becomes the leader of the Dark Order, I don't know how I'm going to feel, but AEW hasn't really given me a reason to doubt them. And that's my point of this video. People are often getting upset at the idea that WWE guys going into AEW is going to take away from other people, and I just saw CM Punk essentially put over Darby Allin without even giving Darby Allin the win. It's amazing to me, watching this product, how great of a product this is because they don't insult our intelligence. They're not reactionary to the WWE product. And everything that WWE does wrong, everything that WWE lacks, is where AEW does well. And everything that AEW does bad is where WWE does well. You're getting the best of the both worlds right now, but the momentum is shifting towards AEW. And trust me, as I mentioned earlier, Andrade may have been an afterthought, but that's still not a reason for me to believe that WWE guys can't succeed in AEW, because AEW is showing us all the time that they're listening to their fans. They admit when they're wrong, they know when they're wrong, and they continue to impress. And that is a #1 reason for me to believe that Bray Wyatt going to AEW will in fact work out. Now, who will AEW put against Bray Wyatt? That's the real question. And trust me when I tell you guys, I think it's going to be amazing. I want to know what you guys think in the comments section down below. But for more videos like this, make sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell. This way you can get notified on all the latest content right here on Destination PW.